The gentle morning sunlight spilled into the modest wooden home nestled at the edge of the forest. Birds chirped in the distance as the small family began their day. A young mother carefully wiped her baby's face with warm water, smiling tenderly as the child giggled in her arms. Nearby, her mother-in-law watched with warmth in her eyes, holding the child after breakfast while the mother put away their things. In a corner of the house, a young woman named Tiểu San sat quietly, her memory clouded by a past she could no longer recall. She had been found injured and lost weeks earlier and taken in by the kind family. Though she could not remember who she was, there was a strange familiarity when she held the baby, a sense of something lost yet deeply cherished. Outside, the man of the house, arrived carrying a box of milk and toys. His eyes sparkled with affection as he handed them to the baby. "Not many men are so thoughtful," the grandmother remarked, watching him with appreciation. "He's always looking after everyone." It was a peaceful day, Sunday. No school for the baby, who played cheerfully while the adults chatted. Sat beside his mother, talking softly about his plans for the day. "I saw a grove of ripe dowda fruits in the forest yesterday. There's a local market today, I'll go pick some and sell them." The grandmother hesitated. "But the sky looks like it might rain. The forest is far, and the roads are slippery." "I'll be quick," reassured her. "We need the money. And people love those fruits in the market." Tiểu San overheard the conversation and stepped in. "Why don't I go with him? You can stay with the baby." Though hesitant at first, the grandmother agreed. "If you're feeling strong enough, go ahead. I'll take care of the little one." So, with light backpacks and hope in their hearts, and Tiểu San ventured into the forest. The journey was long, and the path rough, but together they laughed, picked fruits, and talked like old friends. There were moments when Tiểu San would pause, staring at the landscape. Something about the forest stirred memories she couldn't place. High above, climbed the trees to reach the ripest clusters while Tiểu San gathered them in her basket. They worked through the day, their bond quietly growing. Back home, the grandmother and the baby played, building towers from blocks and sharing warm moments. As the sun began to dip below the trees, received a call. "We've located the target near the border," a voice said. "Understood," responded. "I'll coordinate with the local police." He hung up, eyes clouded with tension. Tiểu San looked concerned. "Is something wrong?" "Just work," he replied softly. Later, went to the police office and met with his superior. The news was heavy. The suspect they had been pursuing, the person responsible for the assault on Lai Ica, was none other than Ha's own mother. His heart sank. "Sir," Ha said, voice steady, "I will not interfere. Please handle it by the law. I must step back from this case." His superior nodded. "We respect your decision. We'll transfer the case to another unit. Go home and look after your family." At home, Tiểu San had returned ahead of Ha. She brought back a few small toys she found on the roadside, things others had thrown away but could still bring joy to the baby. She cleaned them carefully, then handed them to the child, who squealed with delight. The grandmother smiled. "She's a sweet girl. It feels like she's truly part of the family now." As days passed, Tiểu San grew more at home. One evening, she confided to the grandmother, "I feel like I've known the baby forever, but I still don't remember my past." "You will," the grandmother said kindly. "The child knows you. That bond, no memory can fake it." Tiểu San recalled a dream she'd had, of playing with a child in a small wooden house. It was a blurry image, but it filled her with both sadness and warmth. "I think that child might be my son," she whispered. "Yes," the grandmother said gently. "I believe so too." Meanwhile, Ha returned home one day with a heavy heart. His mother's debts had come due. Loan collectors arrived, firm and unsympathetic. "Your mother mortgaged the house," they said. "You have 1 month to repay it, or we take the property." Ha nodded solemnly. "I'll find a way. Please give me one chance." Later that night, Ha sat outside, staring into the quiet sky. "Father," he whispered, "how did it come to this? We took care of her like you asked. But she's destroyed everything." He was torn between the duty to his mother and the pain she had caused. Should he tell Tiểu San the truth about her? The truth he had kept hidden for years? Inside the house, laughter rang out as the baby played with the toy truck. Tiểu San smiled, watching her child's joy. The next morning, as the grandmother left to herd the cows, Tiểu San offered to go instead. She was slowly becoming part of this home, more than a guest, more than a memory. That day, something unexpected happened. Debt collectors arrived at the house. "Time's up," they said. "Clear out today." "I understand," Ha replied. "But give me 1 month. I'll repay the debt. This house, it's the last thing my father left for us." The collectors agreed, but the clock was ticking. As Ha packed, his heart ached. How could his own mother, already responsible for so much pain, now take away the home his father had built? Sitting in the empty room, he whispered again, "Father, guide me. Should I tell her the truth now?" That night, sleep eluded him. Every time he closed his eyes, the image of his mother signing the house away haunted his thoughts. The weight of the secret he carried became heavier, especially as he looked at Tiểu San, so innocent, so kind, caring for his child as if it were her own. At dawn, he stepped out onto the porch. The sky was gray, mirroring the storm inside him. He heard footsteps behind. It was Tiểu San, holding a cup of tea. "You're up early," she said softly, offering the cup. He nodded, taking it silently. The warmth in his. She sat beside him. "You didn't sleep well last night. I can tell." He finally turned to her, eyes tired. "San, if you found out that someone close to you had done something unforgivable, what would you do?" She tilted her head. "That depends. What's unforgivable?" He looked away. "What if it was betrayal, from someone you trusted with your life?" There was a long pause before she spoke. "I think I'd want to know the truth. Even if it hurts." Those words pierced him deeply. Later that day, as they sat together folding the baby's clothes, he took a deep breath. "There's something I need to tell you," he said, voice trembling. "About my mother. And about why we're about to lose this house." She froze, eyes searching his. "What do you mean?" He told her everything. From the investigation at the border, the sudden discovery of his mother's crimes, to the debt she left behind that now threatened the only home they had left. When he finished, silence filled the room. Tiểu San's hands trembled slightly. "So, your mother, she..." "Yes," he said. "She betrayed us. She nearly destroyed everything my father built. And now she's running from the law." Tears welled in her eyes. "Not just for the house, but for him. You've carried all of this alone?" He nodded. She took his hand gently. "You're not alone anymore." He didn't realize until then how much he needed those words. That night, the two of them sat with the baby between them. The future was uncertain, the road ahead rocky. But for the first time in that night, after everyone had gone to bed, Hung sat alone on the wooden steps of the house. The moonlight lit up the yard faintly, and the occasional chirping of crickets echoed through the silent darkness. His heart felt heavy, burdened by the reality that his family home was no longer his. His mother's past mistakes had now become his responsibility. He glanced toward the room where Tiểu San and the baby were sleeping peacefully, unaware of the chaos unfolding. His eyes welled up, but he quickly wiped them. "I can't let them know," he whispered. "Not why." The next morning, Hung had already packed a few belongings by dawn. He didn't want to wake anyone, but Tiểu San had already stirred. Seeing him quietly preparing to leave, she asked gently, "Are you going somewhere?" Startled, he turned and forced a smile. "No, there are a few things I need to take care of." She looked at him, sensing his unease. "Is it about the house?" He froze. Hung, she continued, stepping closer. Last night, I overheard a bit. I didn't mean to, but, did something happen? He sighed, defeated. Yes. Mom, she borrowed a large amount of money. She mortgaged the house. Now we only have 1 month to repay it, or we lose everything. She stared at him in shock, covering her mouth. Oh my God. What are we going to do? I don't know, he said honestly. But I'll find a way. I have to. This is Dad's house. The place we grew up in. I can't let it go. Later that day, with borrowed strength, Hung set out for the town market, selling whatever he could, fruit, firewood, even his own belongings. Meanwhile, Tiểu San stayed back, taking care of the child, helping Hung's mother, and trying to recall more pieces of her memory. As she cleaned up the backyard, a fleeting image flashed through her mind, a wooden fence, a little boy calling her mom, the smell of ripe guavas. Her hands trembled. She closed her eyes, holding on to that faint glimpse. I'm not crazy, she whispered. That's my child. Meanwhile, at the border. Elsewhere, Hung's mother, now a wanted criminal, was on the verge of crossing the border. She moved cautiously, aided by an accomplice, but local authorities had already set up checkpoints based on her last sighting. Lieutenant N and his team closed in. Every step was strategic. Every move calculated. We've almost got her, and said into his radio. She's nearing the forested pass. Copy that, came the reply. The net was closing in. At the village. Back at the village, Hung arrived home exhausted. He barely made enough from the market to cover a fraction of the debt. As he sat down, Tiểu San brought him water. He noticed something different in her eyes. I think I'm remembering more, she said softly. About the baby. About us. His eyes lit up. I dreamed about a little garden. About hanging clothes in the sun. And your voice, calling me in for lunch. Tears welled in Hung's eyes, and for the first time in days, a glimmer of hope returned. The storm breaks. Just as the day seemed to turn, a knock came at the door. It was the police. Lieutenant Hung, we need to speak with you urgently. He stepped outside. We've located your mother. She's at the border. We're moving in now. Hung's heart dropped. Thank you, he said quietly. I'm grateful for your work. As they left, Tiểu San stood behind him, unsure what to say. She's still your mother, she whispered. I know, Hung replied. But I have to do what's right. Final scene, 1 month later. The family stood once again in front of the wooden house. Clean, repaired, and freshly painted. A loan had come through, thanks to friends and a sympathetic official who knew Hung's character. They had managed to save the house. Tiểu San stood in the garden, holding her child, watching Hung help an elderly neighbor. I remember now, she said. Hung turned. This was home. He walked over, tears in his eyes, and embraced her tightly. Welcome back, he whispered. As the sun dipped below the hills, casting a golden glow over the village, the family, once torn apart, stood together again. And finally, peace returned.